Okay, in this clip, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we use Trello boards to manage tasks. If you've been with us for a while and you've worked in market on the marketing side of the house, you've probably seen a lot of attempts for us to use project management tools like ClickUp. But ultimately, what we've kind of boiled everything down to is Trello works just fine as a way to just assign tasks in and out. And that's really what we're after with this approach. So we use a Kanban view. You can just pull up Joy's board right here. And basically what we have are a series of buckets in this Kanban view. When I say Kanban view, I just mean that what you have are basically lists that allow us to take cards and move them progressively through the steps that we've identified as the steps for basically anything that we do. So in those steps or columns, if you will, we have resources. So those are resources that people might use on a day-to-day basis or with currently active projects, particularly in web development. If we're working on a particular website like MedMatch, which is a pretty long-term project with a lot of different moving parts, we throw that resource list right up there, which would be the page tracker that has all the stuff, kind of our project management steps would live in that. So really, we assemble the materials and resources. Those are usually spreadsheets or folders with information in them, like images or documents. And then we assign tasks in the pending column. Those tasks are typically time bound, so there's a deadline on there that we want to try and respect. Those pending tasks kind of live there until they're grabbed and then to begin working. So when you begin working on a task, you want to kind of throw it in the working column so that everyone knows that you're active on that particular task. Once you feel like it's done, you just throw that in review. And review, you probably want to make a little annotation in the task. So you can just say, Harry, here's my work. Any comments that you have relative to that, you can put that on there, save that out. And then that'll just shoot me an email that says, it says something that will trigger me to go take a look at it, or you can simply hit me on Discord. Once that's reviewed, a couple of things can happen. One is it needs to go back into the working column because there are other things that need to happen with it, or there's something that we've discovered as a result of working the task that we also need to do. That happens quite often. Or there's just I didn't explain something sufficiently so that you weren't really clear, so you execute the task to the best of your ability, but it's not quite what we were hoping. So once again, you work the task, you throw it back in review. Once it's reviewed and it's considered good to go, we just throw in the closed column, and then hopefully once a week I'll just go in and clear those out and archive those. And that archives that lives on forever. We can go back and recover those tasks if we need them. There's no real sense that we would need to do that, but if we want to go back and look at something, if there was a lot of commentary on it, or if it was something that we just wanted to refresh our memory on handling that task by going back and looking at the interaction, that might be the idea. But generally speaking, this is designed to really clarify where we are in the task, or in a bucket of tasks might be a project, but we kind of consider tasks as sort of discrete items, and then the project thinking sort of lives over in those resources, spreadsheets, or whatever that we're working on, where we kind of hammer this thing out. So we're looking to kind of move through that really as efficiently as possible. That's the whole idea, and to hold ourselves to accountability for things that we get done in the course of the day or the week. And then once we've decided that there's an issue that we can't navigate around, for example, the task was ill-conceived to begin with, there was something we didn't know, we require something from the client. In those cases, we might put it on hold, and that way it's out there hovering and waiting to be reactivated when and if we plan to, but it's not taking our attention. So it's basically kind of how we handle Trello, and then everyone just gets their own boards, that's what they're called. that would encapsulate all these tasks. Those get refreshed as can, when can, as needed. Maybe daily, maybe weekly, depending on the duration of the tasks. Some take longer, and we understand that, right? So we're just throwing dates on these as a way to give ourselves some urgency as we work. And that's really about it. That's kind of the whole enchilada when it comes to managing tasks using Trello.